Ladies and gents, if you believed that Instagram influencers just used karma as a lyrical caption, you should reconsider. Karma isn't whispering this evening. It involves getting out of a long limo, dressing up, and openly, unashamedly, and with the receipts to back it up, slapping someone across the ego. Papoose, our main attraction, was the man who left a wife who supported him through every hardship. Claressa Shields' brilliant championship glow deserves a Remy Ma. In theory, it appeared to be the ultimate power move. It was actually a countdown to being humiliated in public. Because the internet is grabbing for its pearls due to this narrative twist, it wasn't like Claressa was unmarried. No, she was already engaged, and in the first round, she downed Papoose with the dexterity and accuracy of a knockout blow. Remy Ma is smiling elsewhere while fans are still absorbing the betrayal. The deep, contented laugh of the person who told you so, not the polite, "Oh, that's funny" type of laugh. A chuckle that conveys the message, karma hit you hard, and refers to each syllable. Hold on tight, because what comes next will include the messiest timeline you've ever heard, the murmurs, and the receipts. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the perfect time to believe in karma if there ever was one. Furthermore, the universe did not just provide with the word fragile printed on the packaging. It dispatched the cargo overnight and ensured the live unpacking was open to everybody. Papoose is the headline. Indeed, it is the same Papoose who created the reputation of Remy Ma's ride or die, the devoted monarch who remained constant till he did. He left the lady who had supported him through thick and thin, the lady who stood up for what he considered the ultimate improvement when no one else would. Shields, Claressa, Olympic gold medalist, unbeaten boxing champion, and fan favorite is Claressa Shields. She possessed the charisma, strength, and following. It seemed like the type of connection that would garner likes, create headlines, and appear on gossip blogs with glitzy captions. It was actually a ticking time bomb wrapped in glistening paper. The kicker that made this love tale become a meme factory is right here. Not that Claressa was unmarried. Not at all. Not the "yeah, we were considering it" sort of engaged, but she was already engaged. A full ring on the finger is what we're talking about. The wedding date was chosen based on the degree of family involvement. You may now assume, well, perhaps Papoose was unaware. Well, the voices tell me differently. According to anonymous sources, the sort who won't acknowledge possessing screenshots, Papoose was aware of the fiancé from the beginning. But in reality, he persuaded himself that it was difficult to alter her style. He allegedly said to pals while on break, "Sure, and I'm the CEO of Netflix." Claressa's fiancé never left the picture behind the scenes. However, the rumors eventually became news stories. When Claressa Shields broke her relationship with Papoose in public, it was shocking. This is over no mysterious breakup postings, no subtle fake, just a clear, concise, very visible message. The sort of split that leaves the other person without time to compose a story. Social media was exploding. Whatever you call it, now Twitter X, TikTok screen acting, the breakup, response videos, memes, it was a battlefield of insults, presents, and criticism. Amidst all of this, one name continued to be popular alongside Claressa and Papoose. Remy Ma didn't have to make a declaration. A diss tune wasn't necessary for her. She just shared her laughter on Instagram in a little tale with no commentary or explanation, just pure unadulterated laughter. And for some reason, that clip had a greater impact than any press release. Comments went wild. Queen power. In karma, she's laughing. I strive to be as petty as this. It wasn't only a joke. It was a lap of victory. You see, people don't remember that Remy supported Papoose when his name wasn't noteworthy. She stayed by his side throughout the dry seasons, stood up for him when the story didn't support him, and contributed to the development of a brand centered on loyalty. And he sacrificed everything for a power couple plot with a woman who was always seeing another man. Irony writes itself. However, Remy's laughter wasn't the end of it. She began making lighthearted remarks during interviews that no one knew the names of, but everyone knew precisely who she is referring to. Loyalty is uncommon there, since some people learn this lesson the hard way. Yes, subtle. Oh, it's effective. Of course. Papoose's PR staff frantically worked in the meanwhile. Calls to bloggers, requests to remove posts that suggested Claressa's fiancé was still involved during their romance were quiet. However, the internet never forgets. Furthermore, it was too late to repair the harm once the invoices began to circulate. Oh, and those receipts, purported text exchanges, hazy pictures from activities held outside the city, and inconsistent timings. According to one report, Claressa's fiancé even called Papoose the stand-in. Imagine believing you were the protagonist only to discover that you were only a transient prop in another person's narrative. It was a hit among fans. A fresh round of memes surfaced on the timeline each time Claressa and her fiancé made an appearance. Remy's approval of a dubious tweet went viral. Even famous people began to add mysterious remarks. This is where it becomes even more interesting. Several insiders claim that Claressa never really broke up with her fiancé. The Papoose romance served as a publicity boost, a side story, and possibly even some light entertainment. However, the primary relationship remained constant throughout. Thus, in a formal sense, Papoose was the other guy. Give that some thought. He was second string even though he was grinning for the cameras and believed he had won the game. And when Claressa called it quits, it was more like making room on the bench than a breakup. Rumor has it that Claressa's fiancé was aware of the entire situation and allowed it to occur. Why? Because her brand benefited from the spotlight. Headlines are crucial in sports public relations, and the clumsier the better. Papoose believed he was enjoying his finest life, but in reality, he was only a plot point in someone else's marketing strategy. And without even saying thank you, he was removed from the script at the end of that chapter. We refer to that as a karmic checkmate. However, don't relax too much because there is still more mess to be cleaned up. Not even close. Voice notes, hidden images, and unidentified podcast appearances are rumored, awaiting a drop. And when they do, this tale might turn from a controversy to a serious catastrophe for the author's career. Where were we? Then, yes, that ideal moment when the streets begin to call people by name and the murmurs cease to be whispers. The moment in every controversy when sources begin sending files. Instead of making the files have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We're not referring to nebulous rumors or gossip that you may dismiss as false information. No, this is watermarked, time-stamped, high-definition, screen recording proof. Screenshots of voice messages, and late-night texts with voices so distinctive you could recognize them after a power outage. And my particular favorite, unguarded. Candid pictures where you can tell the subject was unaware that a camera was there, as if the universe understood that people needed something to discuss at work. The first bomb landed on a Tuesday morning. A split photograph was shared by a gossip blog, the type that feeds on stoking the internet's voracious thirst for mayhem. On the left, Papoose is courtside with Claressa Shields, grinning as if the cameras were his closest pals. On the right side, Claressa and her fiancé are holding hands while appearing to be completely motionless together, content, and at ease. Sometimes loyalty is just a word, reads the caption. The inquiry then got underway. The unpaid, excessively energized backbone of every celebrity scandal social media detectives went to work. Dates and outfits were matched. Geotags were tracked down. Hazy CSI-style paparazzi images were improved. Claressa's Instagram stories over the previous 6 months were all examined for hints. Piecing together the unpleasant reality didn't take long. Papoose had been a supporting character the entire time, even though he believed he was the main character. However, the internet wasn't finished yet. In an alleged direct message exchange between herself and a friend, Claressa made fun of Papoose and said he was excellent for exposure. Imagine believing you were in a committed relationship only to discover you were only a publicity stunt. According to another screenshot, Claressa was telling her fiancé, "Don't worry, it's all for the buzz." If that's the case, Papoose was a prop rather than merely a replacement. Papoose's PR staff, meanwhile, worked quickly. On a modest hip-hop site, they posted a gentle "no drama here" breakup story, portraying the separation as amicable and polite. The issue is that the fire was already burning at that point, and a cup of water won't put out a fire. And as Papoose was working to polish the story, Remy Ma was crafting her own indeeds rather than words. She began liking messages about never abandoning a true love interest, repeating statements about devotion, and uploading a vintage movie clip in which the unfaithful man is left standing in the rain. These postings got everyone talking. Possibly purposeful, subtle, and unquestioning. It was well received by fans. A press conference is inferior to Remy's Instagram, without even picking up the kettle. She is offering tea, using Remy's renowned chuckle over a video of Papoose appearing anxious at an event. One TikTok went viral. After hours of millions of views, the video was released. It began as grainy security, camera style, hazy hotel lobby footage. Claressa and her fiancé are walking arm in arm, grinning, joking, and seeming very relaxed. The worst part was that the timestamp corresponded to a weekend when Claressa and Papoose were spotted in public. The expression, same dress, different man became popular for the week. Another leak, this time audio, occurred before the shock had had a chance to subside. Claressa is said to have said, "I dealt with Papoose. Buzz will soon subside." The tone is frigid, as if the speaker had just accomplished a task rather than a relationship. Whether the sound was authentic or it didn't matter if it was believable. The internet accepted it as true. Furthermore, belief is just as good as reality in scandals. Keep quiet, Papoose, just a digital disappearance, no tweets, no Instagram postings, no interviews, but quiet is temporary. In an exclusive
Watch the daily videos on my channel Star Faults. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Please like this video and subscribe so you never miss our daily updates. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay tuned right here on Star Faults for more.